or some wigs.
Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking at the War for Cybertron Kingdom, Optimus Primal. Let's start off by taking a look at the packaging. So as is usual for War for Cybertron packaging, you get some nice art on the front showing Primal in his beast mode and his robot mode, as you can see on the side there. On the right side is some art depicting multiple Autobots, Maximals, Decepticons, and Predacons, as well as the golden disc front and center. Finally, on the back, you have some photos of Primal once more in his robot and beast mode, showing that you can, in fact, convert it in 22 steps. Now, packed in with the figure, you have a pair of swords, a golden disc spoiler card, and some blasters littered across the body here and, well, in the forearm. First off, we'll take a look at the card. The card, it's one of those golden disc spoiler cards. To reveal the, well, spoiler, all you do, you peel forward the front, and you get a nice little look at a possible future of the character. This one shows, once more, Dinobot as a, well, Maximal. And it's the same card that we got with Cyclonus, so we'll move on. As for the swords, you can take those, and you can slide them right into Primal's hands, like so. That's not half bad. Alternatively, if you don't feel like putting the swords into his palm, you can store them on his back, like so. You'll see there's a little tab right there on the back, and two little notches on each blade, like that. Weapon storage is always appreciated. As I said before, he also has the 4 cannons that are littered across his body. The first 2 are up towards his head, which you can pose in any which way you want. The other 2 are kind of clever. If you go to the forearm, you'll notice a little panel here. If you push on them from the bottom, like so, this piece starts to come out. If you pull on it, you reveal 2 blasters, 1 in each forearm. Once more, I love weapon storage, but man, I love clever weapon storage even more. As for posability, you got a lot of it. You get a little bit of motion at the head, allowing him to look up that far, and down, not at all. He can also look left and right, and even do a full 360. And as you saw before, those cannons are also posable, allowing for them to go every which way that you could possibly want. His arms can move out about that far, and they can even do a full 360. Plus you have a sort of pseudo butterfly joint. If you go to the top of the figure here, you'll see this portion here looks like it's separated. And if you push the shoulder forward like this, it'll give you just a little bit more range of motion, and I love that. It allows the cannon to just sit a little more flush, just so you can see it for comparison if you don't have this piece moved out. That's how it's going to look. Additionally, you also have a bicep joint that allows for 360 degrees of rotation. You have a joint at the elbow that allows for more than a 90-degree bend. That's awesome. You also have a rotational joint at the hand, which allows it to go all the way around. And the hand even has another joint, which allows them to open like that. Mind you, I wouldn't risk trying to force the weapon into his hand, because if you do, you're just going to break something and just get yourselves all sort of frustrated. Moving downward, the waist also has a 360-degree rotation, which allows for so much movement, which is great, because that will come in handy with the transformation later. There's also a ball joint at the hips, which allows for a little bit of motion here, but also it allows him to do the splits. He can kick forward about that far, and back about that far. Now the knee has a pair of joints. If you just bend it normally, you're left with this sort of awkward look, and you get a nice range of motion out of that. But if you use this secondary joint here, and you're careful, you can get a motion just like that, and that's just as good, especially if you're just trying to pose the guy. It allows for that gap to be filled in that would have been, here if you just use this joint, which allows for some very, very nice poses. Lastly, you get a rotation joint at the calf, but it's kind of stiff, so I wouldn't really recommend using it. You get a pseudo toe bend, which allows you to get some really nice motion on the piston there, as well as the signature War for Cybertron ankle pivot, and you get some bending on the monkey foot at the heel. I really wish it could move up, though. Posability on this figure is awesome, and you can tell that I prioritized making the figure bear some resemblance to the Beast Wars model, pictured right. And with all the points of articulation, you can put the figure in some dynamic poses. If I had any complaints, it's like I said, the monkey foot on the heel only bends down. And it feels like such a missed opportunity. If they had made it so that you could have just bent it up, then you could have just kind of hidden it back there. But hey, can't win them all, right? Now, let's do some size comparison. Earthrise Optimus Prime, Cyclonus, and the core class Rat Trap. Now then, let's get into the transformation. Start off by taking the waist and flipping it around 360 degrees using that nice waist joint. Turn around and go to what is essentially now the monkey foot, and flip those heels up. Next, flip down the shoulder pads until they clip in, like so. And then move forward the shoulders using that butterfly joint. Now this part's kind of tricky. While holding the joints forward like this, you want to have another hand like this on the head. And then you want to apply just a little bit of pressure until the chest opens, just like that. The head of the robot sits on this plastic piece, which has a swivel joint of its own. So you're going to take this piece, move it forward just like that. And then you want to flip this around like so. Go to the monkey head, flip it out. This piece is also on a separate swivel joint. So you just sort of flip it around, flip the head down, take those cannons, flip them in, go to the chest plate, spin it around like so, push this assembly back in, close it back up, so you'll be left with something kind of like this. Lastly, go to the back, and this is also a separate piece. You just untab it like so, motion it down, flip it around, straighten this out, and put it like that. So it'll look something like this. And then you can just sort of move up the head, move out the arms, flip around the hands, rinse and repeat. Use those awesome knee joints to bend the leg like that. And here you have the beast mode. Not too bad, in my opinion. Elephant in the room, it's not perfect. Spin around and you see some red and white paint and also some blue paint from the robot mode legs and feet. It's not perfect, truth be told. They had to prioritize some things, but if they had to prioritize anything, I'm glad that they prioritized the robot mode over the beast mode. I'm okay with my beast mode looking a little messy if the robot mode looks great in comparison. As for posability on this guy, it's basically the same as the robot mode, given that it's basically just the robot mode turned into a beast. With the only difference that you don't really get a ton of motion down here, given that they just reverse the joint. But you do get a toe bend. So, hey, that's something. You can also stand him up so that he looks something like the way Primal would stand in the show. Like so. You can still soar the swords on the back like so, but And some comparisons again. Optimus, Cyclonus, Rat Trap. Overall, this figure's awesome. 2 thumbs way up. If you grew up on Beast Wars like me, would heavily recommend this figure. And if you're interested in picking this guy up, you should still be able to find him pretty easy. I just saw him at my local Walmart the other day, as well as the Heroes Hideout. And hey, what did you think of this? I tried something new with this video, so let me know how you like it. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and I've even opened up a Patreon. Link in the description below. Until next time, Internet, you stay classy. Peace out.